So, Martin Bakole has released his hit list. Who is on it? Well, one of the people he wants is Kabayel. Probably the easiest name out of the three he wants. Kabayel fairly agreed to be a top 10 fighter. He beat Frank Sanchez in Saudi Arabia. That was probably his best win. That was a very 50-50 fight, but obviously not one of the bigger names in the heavyweight division. But I could definitely see this fight on the undercard of, a bigger fight. I think it's good that Bakole's upped his ambitions because obviously in the ring immediately after the Anderson win, he was saying, "Oh, I want the Hunter rematch." But I think it's good that he's got his target set up because there are definitely some big fights out there for him if he wants it. And I was listening to Ade Oladipo say that he thinks Saudi should put on a Riyadh Season Africa card. Like, I feel like that would be sick. Can you imagine if we saw AJ versus Bakole in Nigeria or in the Congo? Like, that would be a crazy event, right? And the second name that Bakole wants is Zhilei Zhang. I feel like Zhilei Zhang versus Bakole would be what we expected that Wilder versus Zhang would be. We thought that one would be a who can hit first type of fight. But in the end, it was Wilder kind of cowering away. And then eventually, Zhang finished him off. I feel Bakole Zhang is a very exciting fight, Bet all your money on that isn't going 12 rounds. I mean, I suppose it could go 12 rounds, but I think if it did go 12 rounds, you'd favour Bakole because Bakole seems to have a very good gas tank. He fights in a way that doesn't seem to use up a lot of energy. Like, you see him against Anderson and against Takam. He walks them down and then the opponents have to do all the moving and exert more energy. And I remember the guys on the pen game, they were saying that they saw Bakole in the gym before his fight with Anderson. The week before, he was probably going at it on the treadmill, He was running for I think they said 45 minutes at a pretty decent pace. So I think Bakole's got a good gas tank. And obviously we have seen in the past that Zhang does struggle with his gas tank. He had that weird fight with Hrgovic where they were both completely gassed in the last 3 or 4 rounds. And then the criticism he received against Parker was he couldn't keep his intensity up for 12 rounds. Obviously he got Parker down a few times, but gassed himself out in the later rounds of the fight. So I think Bakole Zhang would be a big fight. It's an exciting fight. Two huge guys going to slug it out. Very likely chance of a knockout. I think that's the most exciting fight. Bakole, I think, believes he would have a chance against Zhang. And the third name on the list is Joseph Parker. I think that would be the most difficult fight for Bakole, just because we've seen that Parker has the knowledge and the know-how of how to beat a big guy. He managed to defeat Zhilei Zhang by kind of outboxing him, outworking him, keeping him in the fight through the later rounds and throwing more punches, exerting more effort than him. So I think Parker would be the most difficult name out of the three, I believe. But Zhang as well, such a huge puncher, you can't write him off. Or Caballero, really. He'll be eager to show that he's a top 10 fighter. So it's good to see Bakole has ambition, and there's a lot of options for him out there. And if he gets one of those big names on his record, the next step up surely has to be a Fury, an AJ, a Usyk. I mean, we don't know what the boxing landscape is going to look like in a year's time, but those are the names you're thinking would be floating around. Maybe Dubois if he beats AJ. So it's looking like Bakole is on a very good trajectory. Is there any other news in the world of boxing? Well, Lawrence Okolie has come out and he said that he wants to fight with Deontay Wilder. I always felt that Deontay Wilder was quite hard done by. Obviously, he lost to Parker, and then you got given Zhang, which didn't feel tremendously fair. You look at when AJ had his rebuild. After he lost to Usyk, he went down a few levels and fought Jermaine Franklin. Like, that's kind of what you've got to do when you lose and when you lose your confidence. You have to work your way back up. I suppose he did face Hellenius, so that was kind of his warm-up fight. But it did seem quite harsh from him going from Parker, then not really a step down to Zhang. So I did feel for Wilder a little bit in that aspect, but I think it's pretty fair to say he didn't look like himself in that ring, and I'll be very happy to see Wilder retire, He maybe not the best boxer in the world, but very entertaining fighter, very exciting, brought a lot of entertainment for so many years, that amazing trilogy with Fury. I would be happy to see Wilder walk away, enjoy his successes, but I think Okolie is a pretty decent fight if he does want one more fight. This has to be the last fight, but fight a guy that's actually around your weight. Someone who's not huge, a few steps down from, Parker and Zhang. I think it's a decent fight if he wants it. Try and build some life into that Bridgerweight division. And the other news is there are talks that Joe Cordina might be fighting Shakur Stevenson. I think it would be good for Joe Cordina to move up. He looked very, weight drained when he lost against Kakachi. I mean, Stevenson's he's a good fighter, but he just doesn't take many risks, does he? Which, it is what it is, right? If you enjoy the sort of purist boxing style, hit and knock a hit, it's great. But if you're looking for knockouts and show real entertainment, it's not ideal. But still, it's an exciting fight. I like Joe Cordina. I like Shakur Stevenson. It's an exciting fight. It's two big names. And obviously Usyk came out saying that he would be happy to fight AJ a third time if when he comes through Tyson Fury. I think that's very respectful of Usyk, because if it was me, I'd be like, what? I'm not fighting that guy. I've beaten him twice. But he was like, oh no, AJ did so much for my career, built him a lot of popularity, gave him the belt. So it was very nice to show the respect that he had towards AJ, and he would be very willing and open to a third fight with AJ. So I was very impressed with Usyk's manner for that. I still feel that he's got a big task with the rematch with Fury. I feel like if Fury changes his tactics, he could have a good chance. We saw in the 4th and the 5th rounds, Fury was having success, but Usyk got himself out of it. So another fight I'm excited to see, the rematch of Fury-Usyk. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.